Hey guys, Mike Lawson here. Happy Labor Day. And we had some technical difficulties, and I haven't had them in a little while, so it was a little challenging. Had to reboot everything. So apparently, you have to restart your laptop every once in a while. So, anyway, we are good to go. So, thanks for joining. Uh, Hopefully, you're not watching this live. Hopefully, you're out with the family. You're enjoying friends and family on this Labor Day. You're not laboring unless you're in other parts of the world, not here in the United States. Do me a favor, let me know where you're watching in from. And also, if you have any business related questions that pop up, not just specifically to this topic, but in general, any social media questions, drop them in the comment section. I'll go back and get them answered. But I have a little special treat for those of you that are on YouTube. Do me a favor, if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also, hit the like button or the heart button. Show some love. It'll help the algorithms. And if you're watching in the community on Facebook, this is a little sneak peek into this month's mission that I do inside of my membership community, the Social CEO Academy. And this month, we're going to be talking about creating habits for long-term success. And I actually asked a question on Facebook. I want to see if anyone answered it yet. But do me a favor, let me know what you believe is one of the top three reasons that people, or top three habits, rather, bad habits, that people have that keep them from a greater level of success, essentially reaching, their ultimate goals or what they set out to do. So this first lesson in this month's mission, we're going to be talking about identifying bad habits. So, and this is pretty ironic that, I planned this about a month ago, but just over this past weekend, been, super busy with my traditional business is that time of year. My son's on vacation. Some of you guys know he's, transitioning into, taking over that business, which is great. Do me a favor, let me know how many businesses that you have. If you're an entrepreneur, how many streams of income do you have, rather? And I was always taught to have multiple streams of income. And I remember at one time I was actually going to sell my cleaning company because I wanted to go focus on one thing, but I'm glad I didn't. Anyway, let's talk about what a habit is, because it's important to understand what a habit is. So if it's a good thing, if it's a good habit that you have or a bad habit that you have. And there was studies that were conducted that say that on a daily basis, that 40%, upwards of 40% of what we do on a daily basis is out of habit. And think about this. Have you ever driven somewhere, you're on the phone, you're in a conversation, you're texting and driving, which I know none of you guys do, just everyone else that I see on the road. But you get to your destination and you get there and you're like, how the heck did I get here? Like, I don't remember how I got here, the route that I took. And the reason why, it's out of habit, right? We're just so used to taking that same route, going that same direction. And if there's a roadblock or something pops up, we just got hit with a big hurricane here in the Philadelphia area over the last week. So there's road closures everywhere. And it's like you have to be paying attention, because of other things, of outside forces, because it throws you out of that habit or that route that you might be taking, or just the daily routine. Maybe you're used to getting up and, having coffee right away, eating breakfast, getting the kids ready. And then, now school session is back, right? Kids are back in school. And now you're like, you miss some things because you're not used to being in that, that habit anymore. Right? And it'll come back to you, right? But anyway, let's get into what a habit is. Habits are small decisions that you make and actions that you perform every single day. And your habits determine how successful or unsuccessful that you are in your business, and how they shape you, how happy you are, even the quality of your relationships. So pretty much the habits that we have affect everything that we do, not just in business, but our daily life. See, each of us have habitual ways of thinking, feeling, and acting that ultimately form who we are, what we believe, and our personality. That's where we get our personality. But why are habits important? Habits are important, and here's a quote rather that I don't know who's going to get credit for it, but I got it from my good friend Bob. And here's what he says. I know I've heard him say this before, but I don't know where he got the quote from. And the quote is that you don't change your life, you change your habits, and your habits change your life. See, people want to go out there and they just, I'm going to make a life change, or I'm going to be a better public speaker, a better communicator, a better entrepreneur, and I'm just going to do this, right? This business isn't working. It's not doing that well for me. So I'm going to go over there. Well, the problem is that if you have bad habits, you're going to be taking them wherever you go. So it's important that if you want to change the outcome of something, that the outcome that you're not getting now, right? The reason why you want to go to a different company or a different business or change careers altogether, if you don't change those habits, nothing's going to change. So if you're like, well, I don't like getting up early in the morning. Yeah, you might go get another job or start another business that requires you. Maybe you don't have to get up as early, but if you still have those bad habits of you're not a morning person, and some of this could be just your thinking, right? I'm not a morning person. I don't do well until noon, right? Like I have to eat breakfast first. Like all these stories that go on in our head and and it'll stop us from being successful in that next company, in that next business, even that next job, right? So you got to change those habits, right? Maybe you're working in a job and your boss is all over you because you're looking at your phone all day long. That could be a bad habit, right? Because essentially, if you're on your phone and you're working a job, you're essentially stealing time, right? You're stealing from the owner or the boss that's paying you, the employer that's paying you. And if you're like, well, he or she's all over me because I'm always on my phone, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you take that bad habit, which is a bad habit, and go to the next business, maybe they don't care, but it's still a bad habit. Because guess what? You're not going to, here's what I know about the successful people that I know personally. They're not on their phones all day long. They're not checking their phones all day, especially when they're working. Like when they're running their business, they're running their company, they're focused on that mission. They're not checking Facebook or Instagram and Twitter. They're focused on that mission. Unless their mission is, social media. But even, when I'm doing a broadcast, I'm not checking my phone. This is actually one of the first times that I wanted to see if anyone replied to my question, because I think it's important in this conversation. But anyway, if you become consciously aware of the bad habits that are holding you back and you replace them with better and more empowering ones, well, then you're on your way. And that's the key here. You got to be aware of those bad habits so you can replace them with better habits, more empowering ones. See, habits create freedom in your life. And most people think that habits restrict freedom. Well, they don't. Actually, it's the fastest route to freedom in your life. It's through intense discipline. And again, you're never going to be disciplined intensely, either one, intensely disciplined with bad isn't that what they call an oxymoron, right? See, the simple act of beginning to practice better habits every day will put you on an entirely new trajectory in terms of future results that you want for you and your business. Well, what we're going to be talking about this month, and if you're seeing this on YouTube or you're watching this in the community, and you want to be inside and get all 4 missions, we're going to be talking about today. We're talking about identifying your bad habits. Next week, we're going to be talking about you're creating good habits. Lesson 4, we're going to be talking about designing daily routines around those good habits. And lesson number 4 are strategies to make these new habits stick, right? Because that's the key. You want to make sure that they stick. So If you want a 14-day free 14-day free trial, you can get the next 2 lessons. Just go ahead and just type that in bit.ly/CEO free trial and jump in there for the next 3 lessons. So here's another quote. It's easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than to act yourself into a new way of acting. See, thinking, right? Listen, action is important, but we have to change our mindset, because if we don't change our mindset, what's in our minds? That, again, 40% of our daily routine is habitual, and we don't even know what the heck we're doing or what we're thinking, of who we're texting, right? Or how we got to our destination, because it's unconscious. It's a habit. And we need to change the way we're thinking, because if we don't change, we're never going to take action. We don't change the way that we're thinking. See, your habits are how you begin the process of moving towards your impossible goals. So it's important to have a vision. You need to know where you're going, right? Because these habits are going to reinforce and help you adopt the new identity and beliefs that you form about yourself and your business. So I want you to decide who you want to be. See, it's important how you see yourself. And maybe you're not there where you want to be. Maybe you don't even think highly of yourself, right? Maybe you're just going through the motions. I meet a lot of people like that. It's unfortunate. But you need to decide who you want to be. Are you a realtor, but you're like, you know what, I sell a house here and there. I'm really not that successful. I wish I was like that person. I wish I was like that person. That person's doing it right on social media, right? They're always right. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be like that? You can be your own version. See, it's important that you decide who you want to be. Are you in network marketing? Do you want to be a top network marketer? Do you want to be in the top 1%, 10% of all money earners in the industry? You can be. Listen, if I did it, you can do it. Trust me. But who do you want to be? Do you want to be a great public speaker? Do you want to be a TED talker? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? So you need to decide that. I want you to write that down. And I want you to have a vision. And listen, this vision needs to excite you. Like, where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be? Like, who do you want to become? Because that's what's going to be driving you and motivating you. See, where I'm at today, I saw this. I really did. I saw this 20 years ago. And like where I'm at now it looks a little different. The painting's a little different. There's a couple more things that I have that I didn't think that I have. And there's some other things that I don't have that I thought that I would have. But I had this vision 20 years ago where I would be today. And I'm not completely where I want to be. And that's just me personally. Because I know who I still want to become and where I want to be. And then here's what you do to get there. So you decide, this is what I want. This is what I want to be. This is where I want to be. This is who I want to be. And then you prove it to yourself. How? With small little wins. I want to be on stage speaking in front of 10,000 people. Well, how do you get there? Maybe start a YouTube channel. Maybe start a Twitch channel. Maybe start doing more live videos, right? You start doing things, these little small wins, and it doesn't matter if there's 1,000 people watching you or there's one person watching you. The point is, you decide who you want to be, and you start taking small little steps to get there. Because I promise you this, you want to speak in front of 10,000 people, but you've never done a live video, it's probably not going to happen. Maybe it could, right? Anything can happen. Anything's possible. But chances are it's not going to happen. See, it's very important that you understand that the most practical way to change who you are is to change what you do, right? So you decide who you want to be, so then you start doing it. You start doing those uncomfortable things like live videos or starting a YouTube channel, putting out content. See, you start to actually believe that you can accomplish these things by taking these small little steps, right? These little votes, they add up. And evidence begins to change, the story that you start to change is that you start to tell yourself. See, the reason why you're not where you want to be right now is because of the bad habits that you have. And the bad habits that you have, right, is the story that you have in your mind of you can't do that, you can't be this, you can't accomplish this, you need to do this in order to get that because somebody in third grade called you ugly or said you were mean or you were fat or whatever, and you carry this through your entire life. And that is, you said, you know what, I overcame that. I took a couple courses, I read the books, but deep down, it's still you're not over it yet. You're still it's still haunting you. It's still keeping you from the success that you want because you've developed bad habits around it. So you need to start changing those bad habits. You need to start doing those uncomfortable things. And by the way, everything you want is just on the other side of your comfort zone. See, most people, they come off as very confident. They come off as great speakers, and they have a great relationship with everyone, and they're great at everything. But here's what I do know: deep down, most people are hurting. Most people haven't overcome the things that they needed to overcome in order to achieve. And listen, there's people that became wildly successful. They still haven't overcome the things that are keeping them back from 10xing their income, 10xing their business. See, it's all about the mental game and the habits that we create, and becoming a person of humility and a person of humble, being humble, being of good character, being of sound mind. See, each habit that we create not only helps you to get results, but teaches you something far more important about yourself. And if you guessed trust, well, that's what it is. It's trusting yourself. Trusting yourself, knowing that you're going to do what it takes to become successful. And here's the good news. The good news is that studies have proven that with the right habits, anyone can dramatically improve and increase their results. You want better results, you need better habits. See, it doesn't matter how bad things have been in your past. You can always change them. You can always make progress, extraordinary progress over time in any area of your life. Don't be one of those people that say, well, it has to happen next week or I'm giving up on this, right? Don't be one of those people. A lot of people are like that, unfortunately. But what it's going to do is require you to change your mindset, change your thoughts when it comes to yourself and having success. See, how you see yourself, how you see yourself is different than who you want to become. You want to become that. That's great. You're going to start taking little steps. But how do you see yourself? I promise you, I don't see you. I see you differently. And I promise you, other people see you differently than you see yourself. So if everyone else thinks more highly of you and everyone else sees that and believes that you can 10x and become more than 10x your income and become more than what you are now, why don't you believe that? Why don't you see yourself that way? And here's the difference. A fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. See, people that have a fixed mindset say, well, I made it as far as I can make it. No one else in my family graduated college. I graduated. I did more than them, but I can't go any further. That's a fixed mindset. Fixed mindset. These people, they don't believe in their own abilities of becoming more and doing more. And by the way, there is nothing special about people that are more successful than you. Here's the difference. They work their butts off. They work their butt off. They work harder than most people, right? They have a growth mindset. I can do more. I can become better. I can learn more. But people with a fixed mindset, right? They view their failures as, I'm a failure. I'm never going to be successful. Some of you guys know my story. My first business when I went out on my own as an entrepreneur, I started a Italian ice in Philadelphia. We say water ice. But in the Philadelphia area, I started an Italian ice and ice cream store. And it was a complete failure. It was my first, I saved up and I was all excited. I couldn't wait to become an entrepreneur. I'm finally going to do it. I did it. And literally within 3 months, 3.5 months, my dreams were shattered. I lost my life savings. The business was a complete failure. But somebody if I had a fixed mindset, I would have said something like, "Oh well, didn't work. I'm done. I'm not doing it again. It's too risky. Man, what if I do it again? I lose again. I can't do it. My son is a year old. Or maybe I should just." And by the way, I was still in college at the time. I was on that 7-year program, but people that were close to me were telling me, "Mike, just get your degree. Just finish college. Go get a job." Right? This entrepreneur thing isn't for you. This business thing isn't for you, right? Now, they were right at the time as far as it's not working, but that wasn't my mindset. But a fixed mindset, someone that fails and loses everything would say, "You know what? I'm a failure. I'm going to be a failure." But this interpretation of failure makes it way less likely that any of those people will ever take action again. See, with a growth mindset, myself and people like you, we don't view our abilities as set in stone. We can adapt, we can change, we can learn more, we can grow. We believe that our ability to grow and get better in every area of our lives is possible. See, that's the difference. Fixed mindset, it's not possible. Growth mindset, anything is possible. We view failure as an opportunity to learn and to grow more. But let me, full disclosure, when I lost my life savings back in 1999, after that business failed, that ice cream store failed, I did not see that as an opportunity to get better or learn or grow. I'm glad that I had a mentor at the time that got me right back on the horse. I'll never forget, we were standing in my store and he said to me, "Mike, here's how I want you," because I was bummed out. He said, "Mike, when you think of a race car drivers, right? If they get in an accident, here's what they do, right? They don't look in their rear view mirror. They don't look down. They don't drive down or look in their rear view mirror. Here's what they do. They look ahead of them because they don't want to crash into that wall. They're not looking behind them thinking who's going to hit me. They're looking straight ahead, making sure that they don't crash into that wall. Because they crash into that wall, chances are they're done, right?" And he said, so he gave me that analogy. He said, "I want you to focus in the future. I want you to focus ahead, not behind you. What just happened? Forget about that. You can't stop. You just got an accident. There's nothing you can do. You can't control it. You can't go back and say, 'Oh man, you shouldn't hit me. You shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have done that.' Focus on what's ahead." And he helped me get into my next business, which is, the cleaning company, which my son's looking to take over. And what's exciting about that is the fact that if I didn't do that, I don't know if I would have. I don't know. I mean, I was always hungry, but I don't know. But here's what he said to me, which was another great piece of advice. Very, very, very wise individual. And he said, "I'm glad this happened to you now while you're young, because you'll never make that mistake again." And I did it. I ran my business differently. I ran my network marketing company differently because of the fact that I learned from those mistakes. And that's what people with a growth mindset, they do. They learned. They learn from, and they want to grow and they want to learn from those failures. So I want you to think about those two mindsets, fixed versus growth. What suits you better? But here's what I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself a couple questions. See, adopting a growth mindset, just for a moment, will help you just imagine that if you knew that you could achieve and accomplish what you wanted to achieve and accomplish, it's right there, like a year away, 12 months away. You can have anything that you want. If you were just willing to grow and to learn and to fail enough. Here's the question. How would you show up differently in your business each day? Knowing that, okay, I'm going to fail. I'm probably going to fail more than I'm going to have little wins, right? But in 12 months, you're going to have that dream business. Financially, you're going to be where you're at, where you want to be, right? You're going to 10x your income. You're going to be exactly what you want. But you're going to be exactly where you want to be, but you're going to be failing. Are you okay with that? How would you be showing up in your business each day? And what would that do for your results? Knowing that you just accepted it. Just think for a minute. Okay, I'm going to adopt a growth mindset. I don't believe that I can become, one of the top income earners in my company. I don't believe that I can become one of the top realtors. But I'm going to do what Mike's saying. I'm just going to pretend that I'm going to be there in 12 months. I'm going to be there in 24 months. And I'm going to just accept that I'm going to fail along the way. I'm going to have a lot of disappointments, right? I might not make any money for the next 10 months. Let me ask you a question. If you didn't make any money for 10 months and you busted your butt, you're out doing meetings, you're out showing houses, you're out doing whatever your compensation plan, however you can be compensated, they're going to pay you. You're out doing it, right? But you don't make any money. You don't make any commissions. Just something happened to you and no one will buy from you for the next 10 months. But that 11th month, you're at 50% of where you want to be. You want to make $1 million? That 11th month, you made $500,000. That 12th month, you made another $500,000. So now, right, you didn't do anything. You didn't make any commission in your first 10 months, but those next 2 months, right, 20% of the year, you made all your income. But would you look at those first 10 months as complete failure? Maybe. Or would you say to yourself, you know what? Mike said, just to have a growth mindset. This is part of having a growth mindset, that I'm going to fail. It's okay. What did I learn from it? What can I do better? What do I not want to do again? Right? Would it be worth it? Would it be worth it? Those next 10 months are horrible, but the 2 after that are your best ever. So I hope this helped. Let me know in the comment section below. Let me see if there are any questions. That looks like Jen. Yep, miss you too. That's got to be Jen. Hey, Jen. She's actually doing, if you guys need a website, you definitely want to go check Jen out. So, all right. I want you to leave with a little homework, okay? Because I think this is important. And you can drop them in the comment section here. You can just answer them yourself. But it's important that you think about this. Here's what I want you to think about. In the areas of your business or your career, in the areas of finance, in the areas of your spirituality and your physical health, I want you to think about the bad habits that you have in each one of those. All right? Your finances, your business, your spirituality. Maybe you don't have any. That could be a bad habit. And your physical health. Maybe you're not working it. I want you to think about the bad habits that you have, right? Listen, I'll tell you one about physical health. I like to eat ice cream. That's a bad habit. Bad habit. Because if I ever stop working out, it's going to show. And it does show when I don't work out sometimes. But anyway, I want you to think about just 1 or 2 bad habits in each of those categories. And I want you to realize, and just be honest with yourself. And then I want you to replace that with a good habit. Here's an example. I like eating Ben & Jerry's, which is probably the worst kind of ice cream you can eat. Maybe I replace that with some kind of healthier ice cream or make my own. That would be a better habit. And I've actually made my own before, and it's actually really good. But that would be a better habit, right? Now, I like my ice cream, so I want to keep eating Ben & Jerry's probably. So, all right, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, if you guys want to jump into, if you're not inside the academy, you want to jump in, go there to join the free, that says trial. That needs to say trial. Trial. No, I can't believe I had that like that. There we go. Is that better now? Yep. 14-day free trial. Just go there and jump in. So we are going to be going over in lesson number 2. I just put it. I just had it. Lesson number 2. Yes, here we go. Lesson number 2. We're going to be talking about creating good habits. So identify your bad habits. Join me for next lesson. I'll see you guys soon.